Welcome everyone, here we go. It's 213 on the clock, which is the numbers that have been coming up in the read today. That spiral going down first and then going back up again. It just turned into Valentine's Day, 214. So very good. I have so much amazing information to bring you just from two messages of the day. One yesterday, which is a very detailed one. If Vesica Pisces has been coming up for you recently, this is really going to hit the target for you. And then again today, I was so enveloped in it, I can't remember what I was doing when I started this morning. But very important information today. I will try to get to the read on the table, the twin flame read, and we'll see how far we get. And otherwise, let's get going here. We can roll the dice as well. I'll take a few deep breaths first. Let's do that again. Take a deep breath. Clear the air. Another deep breath. One more deep breath. Sending so much love to you guys. Hope you're all doing well. It's a beautiful day outside, nice and sunny. I hope it's nice where you are as well. Thanks for joining me. Jade was coming up this morning as a stone to use. Emerald also came up, so a lot of green energy, and I actually posted a little Instagram with some green background there, so green's really coming in here. And by the way, check out my Instagram because I did a technical diagram, which I will show you here, but I posted that on Instagram if you want to read it more closely, because it will bring up some target points from this message of the day here. And also the message from today, which was just a little message, but it has that green tone to it, so you'll know which one I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and roll the die. It's 7-11 today. The 7 of the calm before the storm, the going within, the key, the gamma ray, the boomerang energies, and the 11 of alignment of truth and justice. And let's see what the die have for us today. All right, we have Virgo over here. Okay, so Virgo being very practical, purifying the energies, as I just said, to clear the air. That's very much in lines with that purifying energy of Virgo. The 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and also Libra. And then here we have Mercury, which is Gemini and Virgo. So there's a lot of Virgo here. I was just going to say Jergo. I don't know what that means, but if it means anything to any of you, let me know. So we have Mercury, Gemini, and Virgo, along with Virgo over here, and then the Wheel of Fortune in the middle. So very powerful energies there. Again, the Gemini represents the Mercury twin energy, and then Virgo, the purifying messenger energy. So both of those messengers are acting as the gate holders right here, with the Wheel of Fortune in the middle, and again Libra, which Virgo to Libra is the middle of the chart. So again, reminding you to come back to center again. All right, so here we go. The first message of the day, let's see, is this the right one? Yes, okay. So this is the first one from yesterday, which is the 10th of July. And there's that Wheel of Fortune again coming up. And here we have the Fortune's Oracle, the Journey of Love, Nature's Whispers, and then Metatron at the bottom there. For those of you not familiar, the left is the underlying energies from the deck. I pulled 3 cards, and then the other cards are cards that organically wanted to still come out, and they contribute to my numerology, and as well as completing the messages from each deck. Okay, so here's this first message. Let me go back to that picture too. Okay. All right. So everything I'm doing is just from yesterday and today, except for this read. That might have been done the night of the 9th. So we start out here at 9:49 to 9:52 for this read. 9:49 is the Hermit, so again Virgo coming up, and the 49 of the Nine of Cups, the Get Your Wish card, the 50 of the Ten of Cups, and then the 51 and 52, which is the King and Queen of Swords. The numbers at the end of each deck came up to 2211 and then 3321 as well. The 5D and 6D stationing in instant manifestation to bridge the world and come full circle. The loop, like I said with the time on the clock, it was 213. So again, going from the 2 down, instead of 1, 2, 3 jump, it's going from the 2 down to the 1, looping around to create momentum to go into that 3, which also represents the bird flying or the eagle soaring, which was coming up today. The loop of the 22, so not only was that on the clock, but that's the way the numbers are here too as well in the numbers I just told you, 22, 11, and then 33, and then 2, 1, back to 1 again. The loop of 22, 11, 33, 2, 1. The Fool with an open heart leaps in alignment with unity consciousness around the world. Again, the gate, and I'm losing my voice a little bit, so what needs to come up today? We really want to clear out all that last little crap that's still sticking in our chakra system. As the gate holders come up, again, that place setting of the plate in the middle with the circle and then the silverware on either side being the gate holders. They're coming up both for the masculine and feminine as the 101 and 202, okay, that came up already before. So just like this kind of energy here, 101 and then 202, which is the 2 is also the Q and the Q, representing the feminine. And then the 2 Qs come up side by side. When these two are side by side, it's like the Twin Towers. And then the 2 Qs together came up also, which comes into the Vesica Pisces and why it came up today. Okay, so the Twin Towers and then the Vesica Pisces. And also the Triquetra came up first. But actually they were backing me back into Vesica Pisces. The 2 Qs, the 2 IMs, the 2 birds, and 1 BIM. The changing of the course, the directions, or changing the course with directions. The 22113321 as 564 to one world. So again, there's that taking that 4D representing the 4, 5, and 6 numbers. So 1, 2, 3 is 3D, 4, 5, 6 is 4D, and then 7, 8, 9 represents 5D. And sometimes they represent dimensions, sometimes densities, but again, densities are more limited as opposed to dimensions, which can be unlimited depending on how many universes are out there, right? So the 5, 6, 4 again spirals 5 to 6, but then back to the 4 again, to one world, the spiraling fourth density, and the world of I am, and your I am presence, to use human path in research and development of I am. Okay, so you're studying how to be in your power, in your I am presence, that you are a fractal of God and how to command your presence. So this starts at 10:09, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Hermit. The cards of the Birth, 4, 46, which is just for a moment joy, and again just 4 is coming up as the number 4 as well. And then the 40 of showing support, and 8 of leadership there, which came in at 10:10, which is the 2 wheels of fortune. So again, those big wheels that keep on rolling. The Emperor's Birth of the 6 of Cups twins with source support, and the Page of Cups is purity and innocence. And again, so usually Page of Cups comes up as Pisces, but today it's coming up with that purity and innocence of Virgo. But again, it is part of Virgo's axis to dance with lead ship urgently. The Emperor and the Page of Cups in the lambda leap, the lamb to the father, leap to spiral to the 40. Since 6 equals 0, as I brought up before, as in 369, the Tesla numbers, but we bring the 6 to the 0 because we're in the now moment now, which is the 456 of the fourth density energy. So 309 comes up as the same as 369 because 6 equals 0, the now moment. 46 equals 40. And again, there's lots of 4s coming up here. You can see the twins with source support to dance and play, twist and shout, to loop back and forth. 2 wheels, or the rolling stones, rocks, steins, linking jug handles, bridges, and rings. The lamb leaps to source and love or lover that is human, embodiment of source. Once he leaps to source, there's then direct connect. Two peas in a pod who shed the pod when the twins are ready to birth and now come out. Excuse me. So I was playing again with the cues to see where I was going with the triquetra, which then took me to the Vesica Pisces, which is just the 2 circles as opposed to the 3. And the energy of 45-degree angle as well, because the cue's stem tends to stem at the 45-degree angle, right, between the 90-degree and the 180-degree, which is also at 22.5 minutes past the clock, or past the hour. So Vesica Pisces came in for me to break down again, which I'm sure I've done that before. But here it comes up as Vesica, and Vesi is water, and Ca comes up as the letter K, which is energy, so water energy. And then Pisces, and I'll have other ways that it gets defined as well. But Pisces, as in Piscis, which is Vesica Pisces, as opposed to Ces, which is the astrological sign. But though they can reference one and the same thing, though, as well. But, of course, Pisces has the pi in the beginning, which is the circle with the line down that middle, right? The shared space, the moon cut in half, so to speak. The creation of Es, which represents the letter S of Sophia, and the chakra system. This system is okay. And also okay being highlighted here, meaning 0, which is the human embodiment of source, and the K, which is energy, which then references being okay is human energy. So Vesica also gets broken down into VCK or VCIK, as VE is V, SI is C, and then the CA is K. And then we can represent the I separately from that C energy as well, because that represents the chakra system. But the VCK comes up as V represents creation, C is that whispering bench, also can represent Christ consciousness, and then the K, which is energy, but also has been coming up recently as the one less than the whole, right? So you're not less than each other, but you are less than all of the energy of the whole, the source energy. So Pisces comes up as this picture of the pi with the line down the middle, and then C's, which is, instead of CIS in Pisces, is the C's, the whispering benches, or the parentheses, the pairing of the C's. Okay, so we have the C here and the VCK with the pi symbol, again coming up as Vesica, and then Pisces. Okay, so the creation here, and then we go into in Vesica Pisces, which the Pisces symbol here is the 2 C's the other way, right? So you have 2 C's facing each other, and then 2 C's away from each other, and now the line that was in the middle here, up and down, is now sideways, all right? And that's the whole process that we're going to be explaining right here as to how the twins go through what they're going. So this is very significant here. The turning of that key, okay, the line in the middle of the pi that turns and becomes horizontal, is putting the key in, right, and opening the lock from the pi position to the salt position, which is the horizontal line in the middle of the circle, to the Pisces symbol, which is then the 2 C's moving through each other, past each other to the other side. All right, the Pisces. It's this energy of flipping, and Spirit's connecting with me already. I've been getting so much high energy, like I'll hear a song and like every hair on my body is standing up, or just really high vibrational stuff is being shown to me very evidently, or just very strongly here. The energy of flipping inside out, which we've talked about before, but here it's coming up as flipping, you're flipping inside out, and then you lock in place. And so the salt line, the horizontal line, is showing as the cord. So once the C's go through each other, as the twins go through each other, as you felt the merge in the beginning of your journey, you merge through each other completely to the other side, and then at the same time that that's happening, the vertical line is becoming the horizontal line, so it's turning 90 degrees, and they're doing it simultaneously, because then when the C gets to the other side of the other C and it becomes that Vesica Pisces symbol, the cord then locks into place. So then that line becomes the cord between you that is unbreakable. Okay, it's the example I was given was like two shirts that you turn inside out, but you do that at the same time as putting them through each other, and then it's, you know, they become linked like a knot, right? That you an untieable knot. So two shirts being turned inside out while going through each other at the same time, and then being permanently linked afterwards. At 10:35 is the Wheel of Fortune and the 35 of the Wounded Warrior. In opening the lock, but then shifting in, so here you're opening a lock, but you're not just opening a door or a window. You're opening and shifting at the same time into that closed circuit. The Vesica Pisces is the water or emotion of the neutral energy of sharing seas. So something else that came up recently was the definition of a word. I can't remember what the word was. Oh, it was serap. So in the seraphim, S-E-R-A-P, means absorbs, but I think part of what came up with that too was a strip of land. I can't remember what that word was, but there's a definition, I don't know what the word is, of a strip of land that divides two pieces of land, like two continents, like a bridge of land, but also divides two seas at the same time. And that was developed more because what came up in these past few days, which will come up in this read, is the energy of the salt water meeting the fresh water. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but just so you understand where that's coming from. The strip of land between the two seas, or between the ocean coming into the river, where the salt and the fresh waters meet, absorbs the energy between them. Where the salt meets the fresh, the ocean and the river, there's a major energy stream. The strip of land shifts into the cord. So like I just showed you for you, it becomes the cord between the lands or between the seas. The piece that they shared becomes their cord. As I explained too in the toroidal field and the twin flames and the hourglass, that you exchange hearts, right? So your circle and their circle are both cut in half, right? And your inner half that's next to them becomes their heart, and their inner half becomes your heart, as you still remain independent in your outer half on each side of the infinity symbol. So there's this energy of swapping hearts by cording us together. The energy between where salt meets fresh, the ocean, the river, and the major energy stream, where the strip of land shifts into the cord because it's now got the shared energies. The piece they shared becomes their cord, their shared part. Simultaneously, with moving through each other and past each other and locked in place by the cord. And then the other example came into this too to show you how they both work the same way. I always talk about the X dance, right? The X is the unknown. It also represents the chromosome, right? The two eights dancing together. And I always talked about the square not turning 90 degrees because then it ends up being the same thing. It's still a square. But when it's in the crazy eight dance of the two lines crossing each other, then you're in the diamond position of the square. So we've talked about that X for a long time, but now it's showing us how the X is now going to go that 90 degrees and become the square again. Very interesting. As you go from the one, so simultaneously while that C is folding in upon itself or turning inside out, as the C is doing that, right, the two sides of you with each other that created that cord between you, as the C's are still going through each other, finishing to get to the other side. The one of the arc, which is also the masculine energy, but also here represents the feminine energy on both sides, they're both turning in towards each other to become the X. The one and the one that come together to become the X. Then alternating propellers, you know, like the propellers in the Avatar movie, or like a helicopter hovering or a hovercraft. It's that energy of two propellers going in simultaneous directions, you know, opposite directions, creating its ability to be in suspended animation, basically, which is what the twin energy does. The alternating propellers spinning simultaneously then lock you in place, while the outward pressure to, into, and through to the other side. So again, representing the toroidal field, okay? And I think it was Elena Denon too who talked about the Pleiadians, and that the way they live is in a twin flame relationship. So all the Pleiadian relationships, they're twin flames. So it's that energy. So so this is a twin science message. The law of magnetism came up along with the law of attraction and Vesica Pisces, and the symbol, the Q, is the Vesica Pisces. It's just the line of the Q is showing you it going into another dimension, another circle. That is the Vesica Pisces of two circles or two worlds coming together and blending, and then sharing that center energy, which combines both of your energies. Not running from each other, but through each other to get to the other side at 11 o'clock here, with double zeros backing up that alignment. Like the fresh and salt water meeting, the ocean and the river, they go through each other to come out the other end fully separate again on the other side, and yet there's a strand or cord left that binds you, your shared part, so that the land that absorbs this interchange becomes part of both and yet keeps them separate, compatible with both, and a huge energy source in the middle. So so salt came up, and then Evelyn Salt came up, and I watched that movie recently. But again, it comes up again because salt's coming up here, and the name Evelyn because that has to do with the heartbeat. The eve is the evening, right, of the level heartbeat, your underlying pressure, or the diastolic, and the systolic pressure being that peak in your blood pressure, or being the lightening up and the waterfall back into the evening out again. So that's what Evelyn literally means, the heartbeat. And then salt is that salt of the earth energy, right, that neutralizing energy. And salt is not magnetic. It can be slightly magnetic because it gets, infiltrates in it, metals and things like that. But salt is weakly magnetic, and again, also because it's not pure, so it's still so weak, it's considered non-magnetic. First tested in 1881 by German, there's that energy of 1881, the moon and romance, and the 81 of at the end of karma around the world, by German physicist Emil Wurzburg. In water or salt beds is where you find salt from, again, the salt beds are from dried up seas. From the Appalachians, which remember the Appalachians are shared between the US and Africa, because they were together at one point, the Appalachians run to New York and portions of Ontario with these salt beds. Mining versus solution mining, where instead of direct mining, they literally soak water into the salt beds so that it will float up to the top, and then the salt with the water will just, the water will dissolve, and the salt will be available, a much easier way to get the salt out of the earth. It floats up as brine, and then the water evaporates, which is the power to create and destroy empires, because salt was always such an important element. The magnetic versus the diamagnetic repels them or repels them away from each other. The spin magnetism is the spinning of electrons or electric charges. As the electrons spin, it develops a current, and then it becomes a microscopic magnet. Okay, so as the electrons spin, half and half spin in opposite directions, which usually cancels out the magnetism because they have the equal partnership. But the unpaired electrons are now free to align with another magnetic field, which is there's that magnetic attraction. So if magnetically inert, because there's no unpaired electrons in the atom, there's no magnetic attraction. And again, salt isn't magnetically attractive, except when it has trace minerals that intrude. And water's like that as well. Water evaporates. When it is magnetized, water evaporates 38.98% more with magnetism in it, and causes the water to collect in smaller clusters. And this was coming up from a water filtering company, I guess, OmniEnviro.com. The water becomes smaller clusters, which they become hexagons, so they become stronger and more pure. It doesn't let the extra elements get in there. So the hydrogen then can, if there's an extra hydrogen, it can attract to another oxygen, attracting magnetized smaller clusters that don't attract pollution to it. And again, because they're six-sided, the hexagonal, and then it stays pure as opposed to the bigger clusters which don't. And then they can't necessarily become, the bigger clusters have a hard time joining the group, right? They get kind of pushed away. Since the magnitudinal structure breaks all minerals into smaller pieces, salt in the soil is broken down, causing it to sink deep into the soil, away from the plants and roots. So again, the extra stuff that doesn't belong in the salt breaks away from the plants and roots and washes away in this form of water. And again, it's Omni Enviro H2O. Energizer and inductance magnet tubes. So again, the energy of the heartbeat of evening things out, lightening up, and then the waterfall, and then evening out again. So stay with me. So the birthing, now go back to the cards here, at 11:58, which is the alignment of the Four of Swords, and that can be rest, a break, sleep, meditating, prayer, whatever it is for you, laying something to rest as well. But it's also the 5D connection between the twins, right? Which normally you had to be in a meditative state or sleeping to really feel your twin. And again, if someone's really stressed out all the time, they're not going to feel you, right? So if they're chronically stressed 24 hours a day, they're not going to feel the connection. The 4 of birthing, the 46 of the inner child and joy, the 40 of showing support to the innocence, to spiral and dance with flame in hand, and 3 keys on the ring on the other, and then now answering the call. So here's the 3 keys coming up again, which are again the 3 keys of alchemy, but they come up in many ways. But now those 3 keys are also the seas that were reflecting each other like a tunnel, going through each other to the other side. So I'm going to show you my diagram that I made up yesterday. So it took me a while, but so you can look at this on my Instagram channel. I did post it, okay? So this talks about some of the highlights I just went through with you, okay? So the underlying energy at noon right here, double zeros is that source energy in the human form, backing up the 12, which is the hanging man in wisdom, but also the 1 of the masculine, the 2 of the feminine. The wish of the 35, which is the wounded warrior, which is part of the rolling stone, WWEE, 33, and MM. That's the rolling stone. The wish of the 35, the snake, the 28, proposal is the 27, and birth is the 4, and the underlying energies here. The heart is all lit up with the heart's desire ready to come true. As the 28 snake is coiled, your intuition and healing powers are guiding you to a better path. Just be careful. The 28 is an opportunity indicated here. The wounded warrior surrenders to the twin flame proposal, a new passion, and the queen's gambit. Remember, the gambit is when the queen puts her pawn out there, right, to try to get to the king, to make an exchange. The twin flame proposal of birth and the lambda leap, or the lamb to father leap, with universal energy. At 12:06, which is the hanging man and the lovers with space between, the first card here is the 21 of the moon, but the card also represents the world because it's 21, and the magnetism between the world and the moon, with the lambda leap and shift. So again, this reference of the moon with the world, but also this represents the energy of the 2 suns. The central sun, again, we align with Sirius, which is the sun that we're using in the example now. The sun and the central sun are connecting, as well as the earth and the moon, which represents the mother and the daughter, and then the father and the son. Okay, so the moon world magnetism of this 21 card with the lambda leap and shift, so again the vertical and the horizontal shifting at the same time, which is the example I gave you on what the twins are going through as they come together. The 21 backwards becomes the K energy reflected is 21, which represents that toroidal field. So again, the energy of the K backwards is the 21, okay, of the K forward reflected. And then there's that toroidal field, but it's also the two C's, right? After this was the pi, and the two C's got to the other side, you still had that vertical line upright, which becomes the star and the torus, but now for the twins is also horizontal, locked in place. So you have the horizontal and the vertical pillars, which becomes the star from the pi in the beginning, all right? Equal shares, and then becomes that double diamond Star of Bethlehem supernova type energy. The energy between the C's, and shift into that, and so you see how the toroidal center looks like the star, right? That is the star, and it becomes very energized there in the middle. Or Pisces, as in Vesica Pisces, where Vesi is water and Ca is the K, the energy of water, especially the salt water, the oceans, and the Pi, C's, the water energy of the two C's, where Se also came up in Pisces, which means small caps or soft cover. Well, what is small caps and soft cover? It's a baby's crown, right, that hasn't fully healed over yet, which is really open. And what do babies' crowns get? They get baptized. So it's literally telling you this is the energy of Vesica Pisces, is literally the baptism of the child. Like your baby's head should be baptized by the ocean, not by someone who says they're God, right? This is the true God is the womb, which is the ocean. The ocean fills up the sac, which is the womb. And the ocean, has everything in it. Oil spills don't matter to Earth. Earth has oil in it, and it spills into the ocean all the time. It's natural. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't understand that we need to be more present to, and that's why it was bringing that up. But again, more fully going through this Vesica Pisces energy, the CIS of Pisces, or the Pi's and the C's, is the two mutations. So CIS means two mutations on two genes on the same chromosome of a homologous pair, which represents twins, right? They're the same. They're of one mind. A double bond in which the greater radicals on both ends is on the same side of the bond. So that could represent that one twin is much more radical or polarized than the other. It also represents binary as opposed to non-binary, right? Non-trans. The energy of the seesaw also came up as being out of balance, right? One end of the seesaw is down and one is up, like a T with the top on an angle. The cis also means wicker basket, which is funny because a really nice basket came across the feed when I opened my iPad today. The support for the causeway, but also the restraint, the handicap, like in golf. Something you're setting, a standard that you're setting for yourself. Before, the near side of, and the ouch, being fussy, the yew tree, and the bow of archery, right, which gets pulled back, it gets restrained. In order, again, we're talking about the spiral again, right, to create the momentum to go forward again. So the PIS is the shore, the beach, the dirty, the naughty, the bad, the floor, flat, damn it, and P, or piss, worse, chest, breast, udder, besides fish, P, as in two peas in the pod, PIS of Pisces, meaning P, heavy and weighty. So again, all of these things were coming up as this energy like sacks, or things that have fluid or water inside of them. And the Turkish definitions keep coming up recently, and one of the Turkish definitions here is stained, wrinkled, or leprous, which was really interesting, right, because my last name is Stainthorpe. But leprous was one of the first past lives I saw of me and my twin, was of us being lepers. That which fills with the liquid, the dirty water, the P, the breast, the heavy weight, right? So when you gain too much weight, the dirty pair of genes, it literally translates as Vesica Pisces. The gene means not only your gene as in your DNA and your chromosomes, but to return back again, right? Back to where you once belong. The heavily stained liquid sac between land and sea, all right? There's that strip of land that collects the energy, like the cord between you, right? The hearts that were exchanged, the shared part of you. The twin peas or fishies, the binary and two mutations on two genes on the same chromosome, where genes come up as to return or turn back to on the same chromosome, which is the color in the body, to turn back to where you once belonged. So you're going around, right? You're coming around as the C, and then you fold back on yourself, looping around the other C, coming the other way. So you're literally knotting yourselves together, and there's that Irish knot coming up. Again, expanding from the Vesica Pisces. So the heavily stained liquid sac between land and sea, the twins are fishies peas, binary and the two mutations on two genes on the same chromosome return back to their original color or body after losing their color or becoming black and white. Two to return to the same, one much more radical than the other perhaps, or more polarized. Twins in the stained sac, or a cyst, change back and return to where they started from, with a shared part heavily weighted or radically heavily weighted to one side of the bond, with the energy of the ocean and the sea, the Vesica Pisces. The ocean energy self-generates, shared with small crowns or new babies, is that baptism, which I'm not calling baptism, it's now called captism, which references the Capitan, which we talked about the other day with Curious George and the man in the yellow hat. So it's about the Moor people, the tan man, and the man with the yellow hat is a crown. So here's Curious George, right, represents the monkey, that the humans initially were monkeys, right? We were the, I don't know, I can't remember that word. So obviously there's a wound right there. So before the Anunnaki seeded us, we were the monkeys, right? The cavemen, basically. But that comes up as Curious George versus the tan man with the yellow hat, which is the crown, the one who is crowned, who is awakened, who has that DNA. So the baptism of the baby in the ocean is captism, okay? And that references to the Capitan, the cap of the crown, the T, or the eye is the chakra system and the third eye, and then the tan is the body, right? The human. We're all tan, we're just different shades of tan. So, and again, the more people keep coming up because as the tan man, and the Philippines also came up, so there's an Asian reference there too. Again, the ocean is self-generating and shared with the small crowns, or baptizing the babies, the new babies, captism, and thunder roll, as I described when I got baptized at where salt meets fresh in the south of France with Mercedes Kirkle. There was one thunder roll at the time she baptized me. So they're taking it back to that example. All right, so another definition that came up for CIS is this. CIS is the symbol for both the sine and cosine, and the I, the lowercase I. So it represents the weighted polarities, right? So the cosine is heavier than the sine on the other side, and then the I is the chakra system in the middle, right? The center, the post, the stand, that line in the middle of the pi circle, okay? Where then it gets weighted to one side. It seesaws on the scale, which then became the scalar waves. So you see how my guides lead me. Okay. So at 12:55 is the Hanging Man and the 55 of the Ace of Swords and scalar waves. And please, if you know anyone who can use this information, please share this video anywhere you would like to. I'd really appreciate it, because this is important information and it needs to get out there. There's some important message too about power stations that's important for people to know too. We'll get into that in a second. So the scalar waves came up here. So first, the word scalar is a flight of steps, the ladder, right? There's Jacob's ladder reference, the scale to climb with magnitude but no direction. So there's no movement there. It's the scalar is the one ray versus the array, right? The whole array of rays. And again, the scalar references the musical scale as well. The particles with spin of 0 is the scalar, and they're depicted as spin 0, the oval. Oh, I don't know why the oval office was just coming up there, but the quantum angular momentum here. And I always talk about this in the toroidal field, right? When you have the movement up and down like the star and across the horizon, that there's no movement there, right? It's just up and down. You keep the power present, it channels, it gets kept inside to make it more powerful. That's what you've been going through. The quantum angular momentum is then the trigger that creates movement in a certain direction from there, whether it's a trigger, right, something that triggers you, or again, one side being more weighted than the other, one more being polarized than the other, so it creates a direction as opposed to an equality. The amplifier whose output is a constant multiple of its input. Okay? So magnetic, it's magnetic but without a partner. So the scalar waves, when they're in balance, right, because they're not perfectly paired, so they can connect with another atom. So bright with one ray and one direction, but without multiple rays and needing input or guidance, someone to bounce off of. The scalar waves equals the longitudinal waves of sound. And again, the longitudinal waves, that interruption longitudinally is what Dan Winter talks about on Elena Danon's channel and Michael Sala's channel, about that folding in upon oneself, flipping inside out. The longitudinal waves of sound. And remember I told you that light is faster than sound on the outside of us, but not on the inside, right? It's that instant energy. Unlike the electromagnetic waves of the right, of the mountains and valleys, the waves that go up and down, unlike the regular electromagnetic waves, are perpendicular to the direction, whereas scalar waves are longitudinal. They go in line with the vertical direction. The longitudinal vibrate in line with the direction of propagation. The scalar wave is two electromagnetic waves that are at 180 degrees out of phase or out of sync. And what does that remind you of? 180 degrees out of sync? Vesica Pisces, right? One circle is out of sync with the other. They're not right on top of each other. They're halfway between, right? Half of the 360 degrees is 180. So two electromagnetic waves that are 180 degrees out of sync or out of phase with each other, which leads both signals to be canceled out. And it results in a kind of pressure wave. And this is coming from subtle energy, subtle dot energy. It's not .com, it's dot energy. So it results in this kind of pressure wave, as I talked about before. It's like the creation of the diamond from the coal. Keeping that pressure in for a long, slow period of time, builds up over time, and then it transmutes, it transforms into something else. And there's that energy of the amphibian versus the reptilian, or the reptile. The energy of metamorphosis, which we are now usually more amphibian, right? Because not amphibian, we're usually more reptile because we do have a protective sac for our babies, and we can adjust to most environments. But the amphibian has to transform into something else, which is what we are doing now. We'll be doing both at the same time. Okay? So the two electromagnetic waves are 180 degrees out of phase or sync, which leads to both signals being canceled out. So this result of this pressure waves, not just the scalar electromagnetic waves, but the example here, there are emotional scalar waves, mental, causal scalar waves. As you well know, if you're a twin flame, all subtle energy is made up of scalar waves. Energy. Scalar electromagnetic waves travel faster than the speed of light and transcend space and time. They cause water structure to become coherent and reordered, right? That purity I was talking about with the hexagonal water, which is separate from this article, and then increases immune function as well in mammals, and are involved in the formation process in nature. So it says not all scalar waves are beneficial to us as humans. The electromagnetic frequency of 60 Hertz AC, or alternating current, that variety emanates a secondary longitudinal scalar wave that is typically detrimental to living systems. But they claim as their company, But energy sciences, energy encoding technology, and scalar wave entrainment effectively cancel this detrimental wave and transmute it into a beneficial wave. Well, what country do you think uses 60 hertz alternating current? We do, right? Most of the rest of the world uses 50 hertz. Okay, so they're saying they transmute that energy, but that doesn't mean everyone in the United States is transmuting that 60 hertz energy for us with that longitudinal wave. You following me? All right, so listen carefully because this will parallel with something else. So from Wikipedia, I looked up the power stations. The utility frequency, and I just was guided to this. I didn't look it up purposely, but oscillations of the alternating currents. Oh, that's when I wanted to look up AC to make sure it was alternating currents and it didn't mean something else, because there are multiple meanings for AC. So in power stations in Wikipedia here, oscillations of alternating currents in wide synchronous grid from station to user, right? So that's our power stations, our electric companies. Most of the world is 50 hertz, although the Americas and parts of Asia are typically 60 hertz. Japan uses both. There's no technical reason to prefer one over the other and no desire to standardize. And what did I just tell you? There's absolutely a reason not to use the 60 hertz, just the way there's not a reason to use 5D or 5G towers that are way over the limit of what's usually safe for humans. Okay, remember that. So back to the cards at 133, which is the 1 of the leap, the masculine, and the 33 of the Christ energy of standing up for yourself. And again, the 3 threes represent the birds soaring in the same direction. The moon and the world, which represents the mother and the daughter, and their magnetism or their brightness, right? Because that's the scale of brightness of stars. Magnetism is quality or distance. And the magnetic number reference is 2.512. So again, the twin flames represent the top of the chart, brightness, right? So maybe you can see auras, or others can see your aura the most because you're at 100% brightness. But the next one down, right, the next level down of humans, even though they're close soulmates, is down to 39.81% already. And then the next level is 15.85. So you see what a difference there is between the twin light or magnetism and as you go down the scale. And then when you get to the bottom of that 10 pyramid, the magnitude becomes 6.31. So the energy of that card with the moon in the middle and the stars on either side, like the gate holders, which represents like the place setting as well, the birth of the moon in the world, or those feminine energies, and the dance of the dragonfly, 2 as 1. Remember, the dragonfly looks like a stick flying around, and then it lands on a plant and it collapses into a heart shape and starts having sex, right? It pulses. The 7 of the cracker, and at 144 is reminding me to drink water. You must drink water. You can't maintain in that higher vibration without drinking water, and you should be trying to find the cleanest water that you can, which they were just telling us how to clean our waters by using magnetism, by using magnets. I don't know what that exact magnet power is, and I was kind of looking into it, but I wasn't finding much information. But if you hear anything, let me know. At 151 is the masculine and the leap, the 51 of the King of Swords, and the dragonfly wings. So here the dragonfly was coming up as those, the gossamer wings, you know how light they are. It's kind of like the nervous system, right? It doesn't look like muscles. It's not big and bulky, and you don't look strong. But the nervous system, just like the butterfly or the dragonfly wings, are very sheer and yet very powerful. And you know how fast they go. And again, there's that energy coming in with the depictions, right? This is the reference of the dragonfly, like the seesaw at an angle. It's been pushed on an angle unequal, and then here's the dragonfly dancing as a stick in the air before it collapses into the plant and becomes the heart, which is then the firecracker, right? Fireworks of coming together to make love. The dragonfly wings under pressure of scalar waves pulsing, the birth of a planet between 2 stars holding magnetism but without direction. The Sirian Sun, or SS, was coming up here. Their connection right now for Lionsgate is that dance of the 1 and the X, right? The 2 1s of the place setting. So instead of the 0 inside of the 2 1s, it's the X inside of the 2 1s. So there's the kisses and hugs, while the 2 pillars are on either side, coming together in the X. Then are now where we've been staying in this X position for a long time, which is also the reference for the feminine, but also the chromosomes. It's now fully going from the X to the horizontal position. So they both fall down. They're both in this horizontal position, whereas they were both upright before. So they split apart, became the X, and then coming back together in the horizontal plane. Of the 7 key, while that pi symbol, the 0 with the line down the middle, is 2 halves, like the moon cut in half, moving through each other and then stationing from the moon into their metamorphosizing into the star. Okay? 2 heavenly bodies become 1 star. On 1 heavenly body with gate holder stars. The pearly gates are your mouths to source breath. Don't waste your source energy on negative energy. The cards at the end here were 2 and 19, the High Priestess and the Sun, to open your wings, your lungs, and your loving arms, that luck is on your side as the 11 of flowers bloom. Be generous. Success and emotional fulfillment are yours. Each petal, 2 nadis, or energy lines, in a phased array with multiple dimensions and layers unfolding. Like a flower has multiple layers of petals. The petals opening reflects the unfolding in upon itself, right? It folds inside out. It opens and then the petals go backwards upon itself and then inside out. Like the 2 people taking off their shirts through each other and coming out attached in the end. At 220, which is the Divine Feminine and the Judgment card, the 6 of Jupiter awakens, the 12 of the self-initiation, and the 18 of distant shores, as we just talked about that strip of land, which is naturally a beach, right? It's the strip of land not between 2 oceans, but between land and ocean. The 43 of the Masculine and the Feminine, the Emperor and the Emperor, the lambda leap, and the bird that soars, right? So the lambda leap is the vertical energy, and then the bird soaring is the horizontal energy, where the bride offers herself. And the 14 of the falling angel energy, falling light as a feather, as 46 then comes up. Well, first the 2 comes up. Within nothing there is everything. So there's that womb energy, right? Within nothing of the empty space of the ground is everything, right? Because water fills up in it, right? The energy of the communion, the Holy Grail and the Holy Communion, the cup that fills up with the land and the water. The 40 of the void and the lovers align, and then the 46 of just for a moment joy, and the 4 and 6 represents the 4 of the masculine and the 6 of the feminine. He is doing the lambda leap and she's doing the 6 spiral. Again, 2 different things at the same time. The vertical dance and the horizontal dance. As lovers align and then pull apart, she in the cyclone and the vortex at the same time, awakening to her own wisdom. And then under the bridge in scalar waves, remember that references sound as well, of violet and emerald, of 4 moons, or pi, that's converted to the star. So the moon converts to the star energy, or the planet converts to the star energy. The moon reflecting the sun's rays into scalar waves. Okay, so the sun is those bright direct waves, and then it reflects on the moon, which becomes the scalar sound waves of the feminine energy. She is standing in the water under the bridge, the water under the bridge, the dirty water, right? That dirty little secret you don't want to talk about. The dirty part of the family, right? The woman who's dirty. From the cyclone and the bridge, the vortex, the neutral point, where the bride offers herself, right, in the middle of the bridge, in the tunneling effect, right? Because when you're standing under a bridge, there is a bit of a tunneling effect there because the bridge has width to it, and you're under the tunnel. And literally the cards came out here, 6, 12, 18, which is 666, right? And the 43, again, of that vertical and horizontal energy. So that's the 43 of energetic exchange, is going back and forth in both directions at the same time. And then it took me through all the multiples of 43. which one is 215, which is a Philadelphia area code. And some of the more even numbers or ones that stood out to me were 688, 860, which is the 86 of 86ing something, 989, 1032, 1075, 1118, 1333, 1505, 1720. So there's that reference to the 72 as well. 1978, which is actually when I was in 12th grade. 11th to 12th, so it was the first part of my senior year. So it's taking you back to that year. So where were you in 1978 in December? 2021 also comes up here, significant, and 2150, 2580, 2666, 3010, and 3440. So there's that 44 that comes up. So suddenly everything clears. All of a sudden it's like going from the cyclone of the chaos, where all of a sudden everything clears and it's black and white, right? All the color goes out. Light as a feather, as you drop into that 0 point space, becomes an angel, the 14, and the bride falls into the womb. So here's this bride, not in the middle of the bridge, but under the bridge, who then just gently falls and floats into the womb, the water that she's already standing in. The two of the higher self, of the holy water, she's in the sea, a watery grave, and the captizing of self. So again, baptizing herself. Within nothing, there is everything. The Page of Cups and the void, pure and innocent and reborn. The 46 of the Six of Cups, and just for this moment, joy. As the heart opens wide in the joining of these two innocent energies of the two hearts as one, exchanging each other's positions. The Epiphany, a baptism of the crown, or baptism of the crown, blessing your inner child with stormy seas, but voluntarily, right? So you don't have to have all these events happen to you, because you're volunteering to do these things for yourself, because you see now. The first card out here is the 7 of the shifting universes of multiple dimensions and layers, like the flower, with the key, 7, and then the 27 of the Queen's Gambit, the turnkey, with the ethereal touch, ever so gently. That's all a key needs, right? If it's opening properly, allowing it to open up, to reveal itself slowly and surely, gently, as the Queen's Gambit, where she plays the pawn, which can reference lots of things. It can be the pawing, or the Father and the two U's, and for me is code for Jesus. The dragonfly on gossamer wings, at the speed of light and beyond, because we're talking about sound within, resonance. The inner child clanking in low density. And then the dragon or drag on breath, light as a feather and beyond. So you're breathing in ether. The Queen's Gambit is the ether et al. Okay, so ether et al., which is the top dog's ouch, the owie, the ethereal touch, the ether-eality, the human you, the holy grail on the whispering bench in a lap dance with Ben, his kite and key, with all the elemental tools for your workbench, adding earth, wind, and fire to your watery repertoire, solo Michael, and Jack's sun, or JC's energy sun, and the 5 of freedom and change, or the master of the hidden realms, the master of the hidden house game, where Michael met a Tron, the throne, the tunnel, point, the path of one, blunt with trunk, thunder clap, the sound, the tone of Metatron and Michael, rock and roll, thunder and lightning, the throne, which is the THR, the path of one, the toilet, going to the bathroom, the throne, through the bro or dude, the guy. It's the feminine energy, again, the two C's passing through each other, as the feminine passes through the masculine passing back. And again, the throne, the toilet, through the brother, guy or dude, with belief. Because you gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. Allegiance to self, which is source. Trust, which is TRU, true, and ST, which is the path. The ash, which means bright light in Pleiadian. The solid remains of the fire. And the Troy and the foot. I turn, drag, and wander about. The Trojan horses, horseshoe. The bend, the curve, the twist, and the walkabout. A lap of the race. Or the three-legged Mr. Ed, the Trojan horse. Again, the Trojan horse is going in with something they like, along with something that will get them. The 45 is her hidden beauty after the fireworks go off. Right? So after the fireworks go off and you're feeling a little bit drained or black and white or blue, back into folding in upon oneself. The dragonfly, light as a feather, and the fireworks, a blast. But after the color fades to white and black, again, the 53 of the Knight of Swords and the legacy of light shows with blankie and arm, as this energy of JC takes the feminine under his arm with a blanket in the other arm, like going camping together. The 22 of the Fool and loving all that is, as her foolish heart leaves space for all that his. The 10 of the 3 to 1 in a huge tunnel together of high vibration and destiny. The messenger of truth and the loving fool in the high jump of 3 to 1, and here we go. At 3:16 to 17 actually, which is the tower into the star, right, that supernova moment, the underlying energy of the 46 and the 6 of Cups, the children loving each other, hugging each other, the gratitude and appreciation of the 38 of the Queen of Cups and the acceptance of love, the 13 of the renewal of peace, the 28, the bountiful harvest of the twins, and the 40 of the innocent Page of Cups to show your respect or your support. The 6 of Cups, inner children, the little girl and the unicorn, as the rainbow has come full circle around the sphere, like Saturn's rings, ring around the rosy, as the Queen of Cups has risen in acceptance of love from the tree of life. The 6 of Cups and the Queen of Cups, after making a wish, the 13 of transition to renewal of peace, or in other words, the P seal. 2 peas in a pod, paid on delivery, completely transformed, a metamorphosis, the little angel in the nook of the tree that all the animals come to see, a little gift left under the tree, which then took me right back to when my son was born. When he was 2 months old, I put him under the Christmas tree. And then I went back even further to 1978. And that was really my first love, was 1978. So First Love, the movie's coming up for you guys. And my son was born in 1990, so that was also coming up. And again, when in my senior year, I went to Quebec. And I went to Quebec this year. How crazy is that? I wasn't even thinking of that. And the twin flame bountiful harvest from the preparations in the past, blanketing the ethers around the earth with dove, a beautiful creation of Hercules, or her harvest. Her cue, Lees. So she was cued by, and then Lees were coming up, like Cryon, and then Lee Harris, who does the Z's. The he arc, you Lees, Hercules, as she's prepared the fields, the Page of Cups, show your support. As the ivy and the tree come together and produced a little one, which was like my heart I just posted on Instagram. I wasn't getting that either before. As the ivy and the tree come together and produced a little one, like the dragonflies, who needed a blankie and some watering in order to become. The 46, and again, just a little bit of love and kindness. The 46, 38, 13, 28, and 40 all come up together here, the beautiful little ones of a watery nature. Of 6 of Cups, Queen of Cups, and Page of Cups. Of Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, and or the man in the canoe, experiencing all you see. So he's seeing all you see. And I took a break right there because I actually wanted to go out and look at my front tree there because the card looks exactly like the nook in my tree. So I went out to see if I'd had any new little babies out there. And there's lots of clover. And the 4-leaf clover kept coming up this week too. So flowers and fairies, and also Teddy had been at the groomers and came back. Oh, I also brought in a couple rocks from the tree because there were some rocks out there. Again, the rolling stones. There was one big and one little. And a teddy bear. The 33, again, of the 2 eagles soaring horizontally. Be gentle with yourself and stand up. The 47 is that 4 to 7 heart to crown sweet spot of laughing all the way, right? The 2 little boy avatars on their winged horses causing thunder rolls, like with Santa Claus, ha ha ha. Christmas in July, as little boys on their avatars are causing thunder rolls in the stampede of the horses, of the Pegasuses, the unicorns, and the reindeer ones. Thousands of them. And again, referencing the culmination of the sun at illumination at Omega. Coming soon to a tree near you. In 35, the wounded warrior's culmination of a vision, the vision connection, so connecting visions, and the butterflies who are now free to fly, fly away, reach out now and then across the orange sphere. And again, the orangutan comes up as the orangutan literally translates as forest man, like Tarzan, but also as the orange man, or the orange forest rather. And it represents the ego here, going to the gold, which is the God, the ancient one. Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse. So this is also representing Betelgeuse here as that orangey planet, that orange-red planet where Sirius is the winter triangle of blue, and then Procyon is the white. So the red, white, and blue was coming up here, but this is orange. And then the Geist comes up as the beggar, the rascal, the freeloader, and the Protestant. The small flag of Betelgeuse. Okay, it's Geist without the E on the end. And the beetle is plain, mere leaf, or shrubs, something very humble. And then one word that is beetle is also pan, P-A-A-N, a psychoactive prep of betel leaf with areca nut and or tobacco that's chewed in Asia to put, to swim, to bait, or breed, or bread rather, and then metate, M-E-T-A-T-E, which is that flat stone that's curved, like a rubbing stone that you like to rub. It's a concave that they use for grinding maize. And there's the maize coming up as well. As Sirius and Procyon connect, and Betelgeuse can't believe their eyes. Now a Sirius Pro, while Beetle is electric. Fairies reaching out between flowers and plants at 409, which is the Lambda Leap, and the Hermit, the wise one who goes within. So at 409 of the Emperor and the Hermit, in the woods, from the clouds and the tree, all watching how lively your innocent creatures are, when others are all dried out, like perhaps admiring your plants. They're so lush and doing well. Why aren't mine? Or the little ones who are now taking over. As the 31 is to be spontaneous, and the 23 of the King of Wands, that you are worth it, King of Wands, your vision as you watch her. Take care of the vulnerable ones. So here's the masculine energy, observing the feminine, whether within you or observing you. Take care of the vulnerable ones, or perhaps his vulnerable one. The 33 of the Christ vibration and the wounded warrior, WW, the surrender of the 4 to 7, or the heart to crown, in the rolling stone, leaping to 4, the vertical pillar to source for the masculine, before starting over again at 1, 2, 3 of the King of Wands in this year. Blooming horizons from a little beach nook by candlelight and a boat for 2. The Queen's pawn is that little boat for 2 sent out as a temptation to come back to the main ship, the mothership. At 418 is the lambda leap in the 18 of the romantic moon again, of the yellow number 1, the masculine, and the leap, and the magician, and the 23 of duality, the King of Wands this year, right? He's learning how to balance his temptations, his passions, and then the 8 of leadership, the lead mercy ship, of Bee and Buttercup, referencing JC and Mary Magdalene, MM. The magic leap, so JC is 33 and Magdalene is the MM, right? He is the 33 to EE and she's coming up here as the MM to the WW. Okay? The magic leap to joy and happiness, the lambda leap to jump for joy, and the Page of Cups showing support to the one infinite creator. B of gold and black stripes, all suited up for Buttercup. The 23 of King of Wands needing to balance after his 1, 2, 3 jump, after the union of sword and stone, Sophia's word and Sophia's tone. 2 U's rode to 1, the infinite creator being of the infinity symbol, the lead mercy ship, and the rescue boat sent out to bring you back to where you once belong. At 424, the Emperor and the Queen of Wands, answering the call with flame in hand, keys on ring, and spiraling up and up in the crazy 8's dance. The 42 then of the 2 of Cups to go with the flow on the salt river on the whispering bench, where the boys were just riding bikes outside as I wrote this and playing as teddy bear watches. And that was at 426. There's that energy of the Emperor to the 6 of the 46. The masculine and the feminine, him up and down and the 6 spiraling around. So the horizontal also references the circle, the everythingness, right? The channel and then the everything else, the mother nature. The canoe to source ship, upstairs, downstream, lighting up and waterfall, on the journey of the tree of life from orange or orangutan and ego to gold of the wise one, the ancient ones. The orangutan also is the tan man, outside to inside, but also ashamed and embarrassed, folded inside out and outside in, to feel shy or uncomfortable. The forest man, or the vegetable, or perhaps that's a vegetarian or vegan. The forest man, or man with a yellow hat, crowning Tarzan, king of the jungle. Remember, K for king of the jungle is also energy of the jungle. From ego to gold, the ancient one. The 12 of the Akashic records, to open a book for review of 1 and 2, the masculine and the feminine, to be wise. Daniel's son, you have learned your lesson today. From land to sea to sky to I am, you see. And you see is the Holy Grail and the Holy Communion, you see. So one card at the end there is the 55 of red. The truth is red and thread through peace, treaty. The P seal, tree or of 3, and there's that eagle flying, soaring across, a tip or show of gratitude, and safety, strength, and power, a diploma of sorts, of peace pipes, teepees, and how. Command it is so, with fist bump and seal of approval. And who is that? Seal of approval. There's something of Yuval. I'm not sure what that's coming up. Of Yuval. Of Yuval? Seal of approval from Ovuval. I'm getting like Ovuval. I'm getting like Orville and the chicken. Orville and Bugle all at the same time. Orville Redenbacher and Bugle and chicken. And why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the hen. Hen is coming up as the end, but it's not really the end. At 4:38 is again, the leap to the Queen of Cups, the Mary Magdalene energy. So at 4:39, again, is that lambda leap to the 39 of the Knight of Cups. And the lambda leap to a whole new you. The Page of Cups is strong in casing or staircasing the spiral. Sophia's pi rail. Now you see me, now you don't. You see? Again, the U of the Holy Grail and the C of the communion, the Holy Communion, the communication. So phi am I, with an H and all, again, the hen versus the chicken. That's funny. The chicken, and Jack was coming up, the JCK was coming up as JC's energy. So that also brings up Jack and the Beanstalk, but also the JCK of the chicken, right? That Jesus is chicken, bok bok, and then the hen of Mary Magdalene and the H. So Sophia is saying, so phi am I, with an H and all, but the all is coming up as the AWL, the whole maker, that become I and all. Remember, the H and the I are the same letter. It's like the Rolling Stone, right? Where the one is the all, the whole with a W, and the AWL is the whole without the W. And the AWL already has the W there. It stole it from it. So the S1 and then A11 was coming up from those words. The Sophia 1 and then the atom, which is the ADM, the 144, aligned. The Sophia's IMs and the atoms all or even, 2 in alignment, which is the Ark of the Covenant, the agreement. The one arc of intent, the leap of faith. So I broke up covenant in all different ways, and it's that, the covenant is coming to the middle. It's making an agreement. The ark of the covenant is the ark of the agreement in the middle. Okay, so I defined the cove and the nant, and then the ant and the coven, and all of that stuff coming together. The cove is the hollow in a rock, a cave or a cavern, the concave vault, or an archway, the small coastal inlet, the nook, with high cliffs protecting the vessels from the prevailing winds. A strip of prairie extending into the woodland as well. So again, this is not just between land and sea, between the prairie and the woodlands. And can you wrap around that? And that was coming up around the neck too, the muscles that come up around the neck if someone's having shoulder pain. There's an energy regarding that, the strip of prairie extending into the woodland, or the hair, and can you wrap around that? Like the tree, and my tree out front has a new branch which has wrapped itself around another one of the branches. Again, folding in upon oneself. The sheltered area on a mountain slope, the wooden roof on the stern gallery of the old warship, a thin line of the pi symbol, sometimes gilded, along a yacht's strake or below deck level, the curved wood that makes it aerodynamic, a streak, or the trough for washing broken ore, gravel, sand, or a launder. And the covenant is literally that cove in the nant, a nook with stream of string. And again, the pearl threaded. A tooth, and I just said the pearly whites is your mouth, because your breath from God comes out of it. A nook with stream or string, the string of pearls and pearly whites, a tooth that precedes entry here. And remember the two portals I always talk about is the masculine's mouth and the feminine's vagina, right? The two portals of coming together. And the archway nook preceding the stream or string of streams, the protected area with access to water before the cave or cove. And then of course the coven comes up. Coven just means I come with, or a clique, which can reference witches and vampires, which energy vampires then comes up. But the clique is also the energy cue. And again, the energy cue is that strip of land I talked about that is shared by both sides, which you have, that you are when you come together. The energy cue, that shared land between you. The energy of the CLI, which is the wink, right? When someone's winking at you, like, I'm not really telling them the truth, but I'm telling you the truth. Wink, wink. Something that's inclined or bent, an inclination, a squint. The lily, right, which is that lotus at the top of your head, but it also means mane and horsehair, the lion's roar, and the serious gateway. The ant also coming up. So ANT isn't just the creature, it's also a ditto. There's a lot of definitions for ant as well, but pay attention. And then in ant, NT is neath as well as ditto. I come in a gathering of energy with the click, the ant and the ante, the ant and the pawn. The coven with ante, right? And when you're playing poker, you put the ante in the middle of the table. The coven with an ante, or reflection, or ditto of them, right? So they're creating a spell. They're doing spell work, right? They're reflecting what they're creating. They're commanding it into being. A squinty wink cue, bent and inclined to mane and horsehair, lily, which again is the crown, the witches and vampires ante, the protected gathering place to stream emotions. I come with scarecrow, which references a witch, but it also references Dorothy, the lion, and the Tin Man. And somewhere over the rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow. So the moon and the world shift, so be gentle with yourself. Salt and whisper and flow. The dance and drag on. Dragon is to breathe with light touch and laughter on your journey away from the ego, or orange forest, which is dry and burned. After the fireworks or pulsating hearts, take a step back to purge or gain your color back, and surrender, open to a page, a flower, or take a leap, a beach to the desert, or from sea to shining sea, in a high vibe alignment with the King of Wands, or this year 2023, and a shaman's truth. Okay, there's number one. It's 121:38. How perfectly. Wow, the world and the Queen of Cups. And that Pisces energy. Vesica Pisces. All right, so here is the second one from today, which is also, it's not as long, but it's still as profound as today. So let me give you this one too. So again, I'm going to show you this is that posting I did on Instagram. So check it out if you want to read this. So it'll remind you of the stuff I showed you today. Okay. And all right, so here's the one from today. And this starts also with the Fortune's Oracle, the tea leaves, my combined Lenormand Reverie and Kipper deck together, and then the Rider-Waite at the bottom, the full deck. Okay, so I'm going to pull it up so you can see it better. Okay, so this is from today, 7/11. You know, 7/11 is that significant number. And this is literally the twins process of Vesica Pisces, which ends up being holy water. Right? The sea is that holy water. It is the womb. To bless your baby, like, I'm not saying go dunk your baby's head in the ocean, but you can if you want to. But that's what I would do, honestly. But again, it's saying, it's that reference of the holy water is accessible to everyone. Post today the twin process of Vesica Pisces and 7/11 here. And I posted my little, one-page thing where, earth is ether, is heart. I put the heart on there. So earth and ether, so ether is your breath. Remember in alchemy, it goes from ether to the vapor, which is the Garden of Eden, where you're seated, into the two humans, Adam and Eve, and then into the four elements of the earth. Okay? That you create the earth with the four elements. The earth and the ether, and then the wreath of Terra, T-E-H-R-A, they're all the same letters, and then the heart. Again, with music, the music of the muse of the inner child. And I woke up at 8:16 first, which is, again, the dance of the tower moment there, the epiphany. And then I woke up again at 9:18, I got up at my birthday, 9:18, I sang happy birthday. And then jade came up as the stone with the emerald. Don't be jaded by the emerald. Don't be emerald, the Emerald City. Don't be jaded about the Emerald City. And Insta Green. Don't be jaded. Don't misbelieve in instant healing. Okay, just like in The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of O2, Oz is O2, is oxygen that you breathe. It's the ether, right? That you're pulling in those ether energies now. And again, you have the plasma in your blood. So this one started at, and Raphael's coming up here again, Archangel Raphael, regarding healing the heart, the physical heart. From 10:07 to 10:11. So here's 7:11 again. Didn't even notice that either. So it is 7:11, and the numbers were 7 to 11. So 10:07 is the Wheel of Fortune and the Chariot. Then the 8 of the Strength, the 9 of the Hermit, the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, which is 10:10 there. There's the two wheels. The big wheels keep on turning. And then 10:11, which is the alignment and justice, truth and balance. So the numbers that came up with these decks was 12221 and 872317. So, and the 2 in the middle was the second deck of the tea leaves, which is all one deck really. So it was bringing up 1221 again. And again, that 231 spin of the spiral. And again, you drop back to gain momentum to propel forward again, that directional pull. So room 222 also comes up here, which is the guidance counselor show. Room 222, the inside walls, right? So when you're in a room, you have pillars around you. You have something to protect you. The guidance on the inside of the divine masculine protection. The wisdom of 12 to the wholeness of 21 in a 9-year cycle of 2012 to 21 period. So then therefore 22 to 31 is another 9-year period of the full and hot pursuit of happiness. Remembering to check in with source number 4 in that vertical lambda leap before starting a new cycle at 1 or at once, with that C put in there of the whispering bench and that Christ consciousness and that C that's traveled so far through the other. And then the reason why Mother Mary Stone over here fell over yesterday is because my mom and dad came up today. So here now you're going to hear about Mary and Constantine because they are my parents. They are the Geminis, June 3rd and June 10th, 7 years and 7 days apart. Okay? And Mary knocked my stone over yesterday. And that's just like her. She has quite a temper on her. But some very beautiful messages came in here. So we're in this brand new cycle here. And then Constantine came up because it's constant. And I was also we have 2 babies due in my family now. One's due very soon, but could come early, which is now. And then we have another one due in September. So in Leo and Virgo. So I felt like it was my dad just coming in and reminding me of that because one of them may need my help to send some energy or healing energy while she's getting a procedure. And then, so Mary is Mar, which is the C, and Y of the 0 point, right? So Mary is CY. And Constantine is the Co of the NST. And the Antin or Ant. So I, again, looked up all the different breakdown of Constantine, which is the NST is the throne again. So the co-throne, right? Both are sitting on the throne. And then the moose and the elk came up here. All of the definitions of ant, which one of them is imagine. And Andy comes up, which I told you is the nickname for Andromeda. But it's also the and, the ... in the middle. But also and is DNA and Dan energy, right? Flipped around. So Mary is CY, and then Constantine is the co-throne of sense or oath in sensin. The forefathers, one of the other definitions, the forefather and the mother, Andromeda and the priest, to breathe in what goes around, comes around, in. C, the holy water, the 0 point, that the ocean is like a mutt, where all roads lead, a constant in, a vortex. All of the spiral circles happen underneath the ocean. The cone that you know by heart, right, of that spiral energy and the vortex. the one of the C word. And here it means a different meaning, right? I can't write that C word, which it was supposed to be here because that is one of the definitions here. But it's coming up as the C word, right? Whether it's the Christ consciousness, the whispering bench, whether it is the ocean or your vision in your third eye. The C word, which is also coming up, the boulder at the shore, the dog, the hero, and the soul, together in the child. Stan the Tin Man, so there's the Wizard of Oz coming up again as well. In the path of your forefathers and mother of Andromeda, and one to breathe in. So it also came up as the CY co-thrones are either or, right? Don't care, they're neutral. The soul of Stan to T, which represents the top dog, in, right? That you have to leap to the top dog before starting the cycle over again. And Stanton also means Stanton with an A instead of an I, but means to stand. And there's that reference of the Tan Man again, Stan the Tan Man. And then CY to memorize, which memorize is me, more, the Tan Man, eyes, pupils came up as well, stand as the Tan Man, the man with a yellow hat or crown. CY, the two moose path, don't hang out with the elk. Imagine the image in. I am agin, a God in, right? Is taking your power and commanding your presence. CY, the mother's fame, together, coming together, long, longitudinal, to row, ride, drive, sprinkle, and smolder up the forest clearing in the soul path of imagining. So the numbers 12221 and 872317, from 1 to 2 to 18 of the moon in romance, which also represents the daughter energy. The 7 then to the 317, which 317 is the area code for Indianapolis, and that's the Indian, and Annapolis, which is Greek. So from the shaman to Greece, that it's all Greek to me, which when I looked up 317 in Gematria, it's Robert, Aphrodite, light bearer, keep the faith, bridegroom, scapegoat, as we had Capricorn climbing the mountain, clandestine, gross, demolition, Antares, the bloodline of God, sparkling, and Georgia with an I, Giorgia Maloney, right? And that's in France, and the blues. So I looked up Maloney blues. Also Cassandra, the Sabbath, Come in Me, and Ghost Code all came up under 317. So I looked up Georgia Maloney, October 22, 22, the first far-right leader since Benito Mussolini was sworn in. And again, there was a heading there about her, and I am woman, I'm a mother, I'm a Christian, from Euronews.com. Maloney's Blues, and Gypsy, and a YouTube video came up of Georgia on My Mind from 12 years ago, right? Which is almost back to, it's right before 2012, right? The moment before. The site was Melonis Blues on YouTube, and it was them playing Georgia on My Mind at La Biblioteca Cafe, which I don't know which one it is because there's many of them, but they were singing in English, and that was 12/13/2010. The divine masculine to divine feminine to romance. And then it was taking me back to 7 years ago, because my parents are 7 years and 7 days apart. And about 7 years ago would have been where my father died, as my mom and dad came up today. So 11/6/16 is when my dad died, and that adds up to 26, which is that Page of Wands energy that's been coming up. And my mom passed away January 10th, 2021, which is 16 added together, which is that Tower energy. But then I go back to the numbers, and it's 72/317, which 3 is that throughway of the eagles flying across. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, we're going 1, 3, 4 or wherever the 3 is going to, right? It's represent flying over instead of just going to. You're going through instead of to. From 72 through 17, which is the star. So 72 is that the reflection of the Queen's gambit, right? That boomerang of the Queen through to the other side of the 17 and that supernova star. The 7 of the Divine Feminine through the Divine Masculine 7, and again folding within and out of each other, to the 3, which is through instead of to. Through and through. 11 and third, and the river runs through it. 1132 is the alignment of justice and the 32 of the journey, as the underlying energy is the 8 of the dragonfly, again, with the skull and the tree, and the 6 of the mature woman. The Page of Wands 26 at 1133, so there's that Christ vibration. And again, 11 represents the 60 alignment, and the 33 of the bridge. And again, to go through it. And again, remember, she was under the bridge as opposed to on it, okay? The dance of the dragonfly and the pulsating heart, the crystal skull, and the family tree that's upside down here. What needs to be unearthed with great renewal and connection to spirit. Mother Mary, number 6, and the Page of Wands 26 inspired here. So the 6 of the lovers, which is also Gemini, and again, that gateholder of the twins, the 26 of the Page of Wands. And actually, I have a song called Mother Mary, which I actually played for myself last night, not realizing Mother Mary was going to be coming in here. So at 11:35, and check out Mother Mary. If you'd like to buy that song, you can for $1 for sure. It's on, I can't remember anymore, Amazon and YouTube and Google Play, and of course iTunes. So 1135 is the alignment of the wounded warrior with key and lock, the 15, which remember that came up as the 5 minus 1, which is that 4 of that vertical pillar, the shadow. 1 less than 5, which is 4 in the lambda leap, the 18 of the lover's romance with 2 paths to be true to yourself, the 1 of abundance and lucky times ahead, and the 4 of birthing. And there's this reference of the masculine needing to hold on to the finger of God, right, his chakra system. 1 for all, as in ALL, and all, AWL, for 1, which for 1 is that Ace of Cups, the Holy Grail. The 14 is the angelic higher love. The leap and the lambda leap, 2, 1, the 21 of the world, and whole and complete. The divine feminine and masculine to the 8, or infinite dance, of 15, 18, 1, and 4, which then becomes the 14, which plays off the 15 of the angel and the devil, to the 1, which is the 21 of the world, and then the 8 of the dance. The skeleton key to romance of lovers, 1 and 4. 2 peas in a pod together, the 1 and the 4 can face the 15, 4 together, as that lambda leap. And the 1, 4, which is then the 3, right? So 1, 5 is 4, so then 1, 4 is then 3, which is the bird flying through as opposed to 2. In the lambda leap, to soar. So are the father's vertical and the mother's horizontal journey, 1 for all and all for 1. She has a direct connect to birth, so he must grab on to the finger of God, or the chakra system and the Merkaba, to the moon, and world between 2 stars. In the Lion's Gate romantic lioness alignment, an ark of covenant, a safe space to imagine. The key to lovers' abundant birth, the romance of the moon and the dragonfly, to breathe and fly, 2 as 1, a pulsing heart of ether, earth, terra, and wreath, which writh means to run. Form, guise, or disguise an illusion. And a helicopter went over there at 1141. Again, alignment with the Holy Grail and the helicopter. And that was my dad just saying copter, because my last name is Cope, my maiden name anyway. And my dad was bringing that just in the helicopter. And my mom's family's Heller, so there's helicopter. That's so funny. Wow. So the ash bright light and the high road, the heart. And there's something else I meant to bring up, and now I've forgotten it, but that's okay. So the energy of the illusion here, right? The ash of bright light, the high road, the heart, with the ether running through it, the river, the ether, again the fresh water coming through as opposed to the salt water, the one that's salty, with Terra ray to the nth degree, D gray, that's really funny. Okay, so the ash bright light, the high road, the heart, with ether running through it, with Terra, and I'm spelling it like Earth, T-E-H-R-A, ray to the nth degree. And again, remember the moon reflects the scalar electromagnetic as opposed to the gamma waves coming up from the sun. So again, the masculine versus the feminine energy. And then the ray comes up, R-E-A, which means to row. It means the plaintiff and the defendant. It's the male sheep, which is coming up on the 17th. The ram, even, flat, and horizontal, steady, regular, easy, continuous. The ace and the realization. And the realization was coming up as, you know, when you sell your stocks, you realize them, right? When they're not sold, they're unrealized. So again, this realization here of the ray. Terra rowing in the ram as we go into the North Node, going into the ram. And Aries on the 17th. Taking both sides, being even, horizontal, acing the easy way, the continuous, the realized way. Right, having visualized, having seen it. Of two hearts and sunshine and patience blasting off with the 26 of the Page of Wands and the planes to the Keys, which was so funny because I talked to my son today and he's vacationing in Florida today. And 1152 is the alignment of the Queen of Swords with the 30 of Sun, the 24 of Patience, and the 25 of Phoenix. So the Sun's coming up also as Leo energy, which is typical to King of Wands, and then we have the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands here. And again, the next 3 years, 23, 24, and 25. The union in the Sun to Omega with Patience, 2, 4, 2, 5. And remember, we were just talking about going through way as opposed to two, the two-way. Slow down and be prepared to rise after a period of crisis or cry, suffering in silence, or sisters, or whatever that means for you. At home in 2023, Sunshine King of Wands with Patience and the Queen of Wands, which is Omega and Enlightenment. Slowing down even more after that to the Knight of Wands, 25, with a slow burn in the SIRIAN Starseed deck. And the Phoenix with wings open wide. The skeleton key to home, to hone and ohm. The 30 of the Union with the now moment, which is 2023. And the 7 of the Gamma Ray and the Chariot. So then we have the 26 card, which is that plane taking off. And there's palm trees there, and there's keys in Florida, right? So the keys are coming up. The Page of Wands takes off for Florida, perhaps, to the keys, as we have 7, 2, and 19. The dragonfly key to the sun. As I just told you, I talked to my son in Florida. The 7 and 2 references, again, the reflection of the Queen's Gambit and the 19 of the sun. Also, 7, 2 is the gamma ray, 7, the key, the boomerang. Of 2, again, boomerang in both directions at the same time, to the sun. The dragonfly key to the sun and the cracker angel of luck, of positive energy and fireworks, the chariot and the angel, the high priestess or higher self, with wings open wide, with a 4-leaf clover. And I was down at the tree yesterday when they were talking about the nook in the tree, seeing if there were any special flowers there, and there was lots of clovers there. So crimson then came up, that red-purple energy, and clover over and over. The chariot of the higher self and sunshine, or sunshine state, in that Georgia state of mind. So now it's bringing Florida and Georgia in here. And then I didn't know what it was. It could have been a cat. It could have been a groundhog. If it was a squirrel, it was a big one. It could have been like a like a gopher or something. I don't know, but it was, you know, that medium-sized animal. As I got up to go look to see what it was, but I heard them rustling around under the deck out front, but they got away unseen. And Teddy came to see too, but we didn't see it again. But I saw him in the window. So then 11, 10, 31, and 17 came up. At 12:06, again, the hanging man, wisdom, and the six of the lovers, and the family, with space between. The flowers, fire, thorns, and love surround Halloween. So October 31st was coming up here. So they're saying to send love around that date. So, you know, to transmute the negative energies around Halloween with love light to transmute the fire and thorns. Be generous and let go. Weathering the challenges brings love all around. Aligning with destiny, one and now. Pi and Phi, drawing outside the lines. By leaps and arcs and bridges guarded by thorns of conflict and competition, or groups playing to leap to source and begin again, with dreams fulfilled and stars aligned, and Aquarius, the emotion of laughter. And there, the reflection of love is EVOL, and then the word EVOL plus love equals evolve. Evolve. It's like saying evolve in Italian. All right. So love and evol is evolve. Okay. So love and its reflection is evolve. To roll or unfold, to move, develop, change, transform, to wind or unwind, or to cause a spiral or reaction to become more. The tan man with the yellow hat, the crown. Justice and destiny with Libra and thorns of love. The flower was torched, so the rose grew thorns, loving itself for its dreams to come true, and rising to the occasion of the O, which is the human, and the K, which is the being okay energy, or case connection, the Ark of the Covenant to protect and love one's self. This is the Ark of the Covenant. The flow of Phi to the nth degree. And then it was taking me to flee, fly, flow, vista. I don't know if any of you know that. Pamela, macumala, vista. Oh, no, not the vista, vista. Eeny, meeny, dissalini, ua, amalini, acha, chacha, kukuracha, ooh, give me an ish, bobo, no, bobo, but didn't that, and why not, and shh. That was the train coming into the station. All right, so flow, Phi, to the nth degree, flee, fly, flow, and vista. The love train seen coming into the station, opening a passage, a path of imagination of Aquarius. The RI, which is quick, ready, brave, young, and new, or in other words, Aries coming in on 717, the emotion of Aries in the age of Aquarius and laughter. 717 US. Okay, so it's coming up as Aquarius is coming up as the aqua of the water, emotions, and Rias is laughter. But RE was coming up here with the US or us. The Re, which is that young energy of Aries coming in, but in the age of Aquarius. So the next underlying energy, and remember OK is the human embodiment of source with the K, which is energy. So OK is good energy of the human. At 1228, which is the hanging man and the twins, the underlying energy of the vulture, the kangaroo, teardrops, the arrow, the younger man, and the skull. Depressed and unsettled, or needing to plan ahead, with great personal sorrow, perhaps little Joey, as you are on the right path with younger man and skull, or unearthing what's in his head, or key in the skeleton. At 1231, the hanging man and the group, or the conflict, or that 3D1 is the remembering to go to 4 before you start over again. The one of the fan of romance and celebration, of the bag and the cobweb, of something important, protected. Remember, that's you. The Ark of the Covenant is you loving yourself first, protecting yourself with your thorns. The skull cap and the fan, so you see how the whole head's coming up here. Like the skull cap part of the brain, like a fan shape of the brain, and then the brain stem also coming up. Perhaps the right muscle or ligament that wraps around the back of the neck at Atlas to clip or a pinched nerve, or left neck or sac cyst protecting you from negative forces beyond your control. So like I have a cyst on the back of my neck, so it was showing me that so that you understand what I was talking about. Like, and you know, it bothers me to feel it sometimes, but they're telling me it's protecting me, so leave it alone, it's fine. So, and that could have been, I've had it since I was very young. I don't think I was a kid. I might have been a teenager when I got it. I can't remember when it started developing. But it's around that energy, and my dad always talked about just being the sweat glands, so it wasn't a big deal. And I had it looked at before. But, you know, it could have been some negative energy because I was in very different energy back then when I was young. So it may have protected me at that time. I also did do a back handspring and fell on my head in the basement of my house one day when I was first starting gymnastics. So, I mean, it could have been from that as well. I don't remember. But saying, you know, it's to protect you. And then it was giving us the energy of raising your hand with the broom, or be room. And remember, the room came up before, right? It's the room is a place of safety with pillars. And I keep trying to tell Teddy that when it's thundering and lightning out. In need of help, sweep. Be the room, right? When you have a new home, a new happiness, you know, when you clean up a bit. Or just change things around. Just, you know, when you sweep, you're pushing the dirt around. My dad would say that too. You're just pushing dirt around. He's like, don't worry about the dirt. It's good for you. So with birds and flowers, the tent of the fair man, a temporary situation, as the shark comes in towards the ram. Again, the north node. Good luck. As the horseshoe and throwing a ringer, with stubborn, aggressive person, or literally a player like a card shark, except with horseshoes, or another game like that, perhaps pool or jumping the broom, or a broken bridge. At 12:43 is the hanging man, and again, that coming together of the vertical and horizontal pillars, 1, 2, 4, and 3, as the lily and spiritual love, the jug, the jug, the career, the eye, the caterpillar, lightning, and the handshake, and the tree. The lotus crown and the jug handle, and that came up the other day too. Being lighthearted and in a carefree time as you arrive at the crown. With career and desk, perhaps you might want to organize your desk now, with a plant and a pen and a feather perhaps. With psychic ability as the caterpillar, will not always be so. Control your anger. A meeting with a stranger could be important regarding family affairs, or literally tree work. Perhaps a skeleton is literally found prior to the node in Aries, as an older woman with dog barking or advice from a friend about a bag or work or sac or cyst. Beware of greed or great peacock pride, and broken bridge with ram. I was just getting ramsack. Instead of ransack, it was ramsack. Pride versus stubborn aggression is not a good mix, as fair man may attack from the back. Could be some kind of a brain injury here too, like where someone's looking into. Someone might have hit their head a long time ago and just looking into it. Or again, just like I described about my neck. Could be something old popping up to be seen, but without a reaction. Or horns budding or clanking. Remember, a peacock's feathers are a form of protection, along with the ram's horns. Perhaps it's a good thing that the bridge was out when you couldn't go across it. Still cleaning up on the other side. At 12:52, the hanging man and the Queen of Swords. So then the underlying energy at 52, which is the Queen of Swords, the 22 of the Queen of Pentacles now comes up at the Y in the road, and the 13 of the Page of Swords child, and the 6 of the King of Wands. The breakthrough of the sun, as the 3, again, that eagle soaring across, or the abundant marriage of the mature woman. With Aries or Fool at the 5D station, transitioning child or message, and the Scorpion and Gemini, and Taurus or 2 Geminis or twins, transitioning to marry, or child of 2 Geminis. And again, talking about me, I was just telling you about my parents who are both Geminis. The Queen of Pentacles transition through the death or parent's death, and the Page of Swords with a message to bring. And again, the child of the Geminis or the twins. As the Taurus and Scorpio leave the north and south nodes, the parents may pop in to say farewell to an era with you. June 3rd and June 10th, which the 3 comes up here between the two 6s in the cards, literally, and then 10 and 3 come up, and 13 also came up right here. The cards were 22, 13, 6, 3, 6, and 10, 3, and 6, 10 are the 6, 3, 6, and the 13. And then going to the 22, the 22nd may be significant here, because we have the node from the 17th to the 18th, and then the transition to Leo, maybe that's on the 22nd this year. And then my parents' anniversary is August 9th, 23. The dance to the 9, so the 8 to the 9, which is that Virgo energy, and then to the 3, from the 2 to the 3, which is going through it, the river running through it. And the anniversary. I was just getting that, the Sari. Sari is someone we knew when we were little. But Mary was coming in to remind me about Sari. I'll have to tell my sister because she was close with Sari. But anniversary. And Anne is coming up there too. I-verse. And RY, which I brought up RY. Say RY. Rye. Rye. Why is rye bread coming up? So rye is coming up, that may be with a W, a rye. I want to just look up real quick RY again because I can't remember. I know I just told you RI, but RY is coming up again. Okay, so RY is row, to ride, to drive, to give, reputation. And the tree trunk's circumference. I didn't notice that one either before. It means to be long. Again, there's that longitudinal energy here of RY. And fame, renown, reputation. Okay? And I'm getting the song Fame. Fame, I want to live forever. I want to learn how to fly high. Right? So that's bringing that energy of soaring over to fly. And that's what I wanted to remember to tell you. I only had like 2 major repeating dreams when I was young. One of them was climbing the jungle gym, and a really tall one, and falling, and that one I never hit. But when I also climbed my stairs in my old house, the balcony would look over into the foyer, and I would, in my dream, I'd climb the stairs and fall over the balcony onto the floor, and I would get up and do it over and over and over again. And then the other one was flying. I was constantly running and trying to take off flying. And sometimes I would, and sometimes I couldn't. I was having trouble taking off flying. So it's really funny that that's coming up now. The 23 of the King of Wands in the courthouse, McDreamy or British Council, or the King of Wands with Curious George goes to Washington, New York, or Philadelphia. Perhaps a Capitol building or City Hall, or filing paperwork. Perhaps a mature woman and her lawyer or advisor, as home with the King of Cups and the Emperor perhaps, and imprisonment, literally here, or on house arrest, or home that has become imprisonment. Present to Ben, and that's a reference to Philadelphia and London with Big Ben, or someone in the house, or patient does go to jail, or Curious George goes to jail. And did you see that episode? Oh my God, I couldn't stand seeing Curious George in the jail cell. So at 103 is the Magician of the Divine Masculine, and the 3 again of going through it, the 0 or space between. And then 35, 25, and 34. The Wounded Warrior, the Knight of Wands, and the Energetic Exchange. So you see the Rolling Stone there, and the WW and EE with the Knight of Wands between them, with the King of Pentacles. And that's my cue that I need some water because I'm starting to, my speech is getting a little bit ungrounded. The Path of Surrender and High Honors of Abundant Fish, Pisces, or Exchange. Perhaps a reenactment or an enactment in Congress. Perhaps that's fishy, or something fishy about the water, with the Forest Man and Tarzan, Curious George and the Tan Man with the yellow hat or crown. At 106, and the Magician and the Lovers, as the Queen of Pentacles again, is she dropping the ball or breaking patterns? Tripping up into the middle of malalignment, perhaps overtime or no problem letting go of what no longer serves, as I was just letting you know, right? My water reserves were getting low. Not aligning herself with those who stretch themselves too thin, or Gumby, or Atlas working overtime that never ends. Investing in ending the cycle to lay down all the wounds with no need to pick up more. And there's that energy of the more people and the tan people and their passions. They will overheat if they don't drink water. The Six of Cups reversed. When working out, a blast from the past in ending the pain cycle or in a painful end, or two, finishing off the hard parts first for a clear slate of the Six of Wands, coming in with good news to the High Priestess or higher self, the Queen of Cups. Perhaps sisters or counsel, mediation, or Pisces or Virgo, and the Queen of Cups not sleeping or purging or stressed with dependent, or their own powerlessness, or perhaps loss of power, money, and independence, or perhaps spending too much, or has a big purchase to make, or a child or children dumping multiple loads, or emotional attachments, to the Ten of Cups reversed, a family who may not be happy, or a cycle of unhappiness they are now ending. The Seven of Pentacles, reaping rewards, perhaps daydreaming, or assessing their worth, or family ending. Our family is ending here with a bunch of crap to get rid of. At 117, again, the leap to the star, or healing, or dreams coming true. As the King of Swords is uninspired and not amused at home, or just not enjoying it anymore, or all those things you've collected over the years, right? As you get older, you don't, necessarily resonate with that stuff anymore naturally. As the Knight of Swords is rushing in to detox, or Capricorn reversed, or storming the place with deliveries, or delivering the news and breaking the chains to end the conflict with the Divine Feminine, Pisces, neighbor or world, or neutral observer just hanging out and watching, or the neighborhood watch. As Pisces, and Pisces are Capricorn, and the King of Pentacles perhaps, is insecure or without tools to face the music, or Gemini or Virgo reversed, or Aquarius reversed in a heated exchange with the Page of Swords upright and the Page of Pentacles reversed, or a message about their grades, or they need help to get a job. Perhaps the Page of Pentacles reversed wants to work for their family business, or there are limited invites to their perhaps summer graduation, or the Page of Pentacles reversed maybe wants to tap into their trust, or family party or reunion or celebration of life, and receiving big love from the Empress upright. And that could be, a child also getting perhaps a gift. As the Empress is upright, dealing with the wounded warrior who's on guard with them, giving them dirty looks. Perhaps the Hermit there leaving the light on, or Hermit backing them up as the wounded warrior who's defensive to the Empress here. In need of peace with the Queen of Swords reversed, or mother and child or partner is at the counselor or mediation, or dealing with a divorce. With Taurus and Virgo upright and Taurus reversed, and again they're stepping down from the North Node, healing at rest or by laying something to rest, which is what they're doing now by stepping off the North Node, or spiritual forgiveness, meditation or holding on, or saving and being practical, perhaps hoarding or stealing and cheating as the Emperor upright, or taking stuff, or someone's taking from the Emperor here, or information without asking first, or taking back what was never returned, or showing up without prior notice. Or this could be them sending a private eye over to the Emperor as well. As the Emperor is upright with the Page of Cups upright, which I told you they always come out together, right? The most wise one, right, is supposed to be the Emperor, and then the Page of Cups is the most innocent one. Standing up to the inequity of the King of Wands reversed on the warpath, or perhaps he doesn't have a vehicle, or he's stuck and broken, or a player who ran out of steam or fell short, or broke in or broke out, or he broke up, down, or through, or had an accident, or with lover or child, and being kicked out, or mind-blowing sex, or perhaps his crown was blown, and I wrote brown by accident here, maybe his crown is brown, not gold, or Gemini is blowing their top. As Aquarius and Cancer and lots of fire are reversed, but Gemini and Scorpio are upright here. Grounding, integrating, and mastering, or going to the gym, and a message of love ignored perhaps as three others were perhaps, or collecting cups or trophies here, or their jar of hearts, or sweets. Released by a split, divide, or need for clarity and truth, in a twist of fate, or a slowing down, slowing down at night or with the past full moon, with Libra reversed and Cancer upright, or Libra already stationing in the South Node, as Cancer is full power now, because the Sun is in Cancer, as the Page of Wands is representing Aries, getting ready to take the stand, with mature woman present perhaps, at 138, the masculine, the magician, or that leap to the Queen of Cups, which also represents Mary Magdalene in her heart. The energy of the Eight of Cups upright, the Two of Swords upright, and the King of Cups reversed, inspired to walk, or take a walk, or leave into that good night and go within, or keep to oneself for peace of mind. The King of Cups is reversed here, and that can be conditions of love as well. As the Knight of Pentacles reversed, stubborn mule, perhaps made an Ace of Pentacles big offer that seemed to dissatisfy this child or pet or Leo or someone dealing with egos at play here. As the Knight of Cups is upright, offers love to bridge the gap. Perhaps Scorpio is losing patience or fell from grace or aligned with bad influences, or Sagittarius reversed, or this could be a Scorpio with Saggy in their chart. Or the King of Cups reversed is with the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the Knight of Cups upright, or he's both and it's all him. Or Scorpio's dealing with Leo or twins, both reversed, and there could be Sagittarius reversed here as well. And that can just all mean that those signs are in your chart, but they're not the sun or the rising sign. Or dark night is raising their vibrations with love and keeps coming back with love no matter what they do or how they react at 144. And there's that energy of Adam as well, ADM. So again, learning how to not react to things and to keep coming back with love no matter what they do, so that they then start becoming the same as you and reflecting you. There's a need for joy of reunion and choice of path, with justice upright, truth and balance, recovering and recovery perhaps for the Queen of Wands reversed, or Judge who's bringing the Queen of Wands in. Perhaps Leo is upright and Aries is reversed, or being strong but lacking faith, or taming the beast or pet, or embarrassed or fell, but getting over it right away and being more present in the moment. With Libra upright, Leo upright, and Aries reversed. Fan of an older woman as the King of Wands goes to court, with the Queen of Wands reversed, or for an older woman. Patience is needed with dogs barking or perhaps benched and their feet hurt. Home or trapped and keeping to themselves as the Knight of Wands may be prideful and stuck, with the King of Cups reversed, perhaps Aries shark. Love aligns with horseshoes or Messier 83 and Hydra, and fish in energetic exchange, with the King of Pentacles and arrows of love, or heated exchange, or about exchanging a gift. And there may be some a lack of appreciation here. Someone might want to return it, so then someone else is getting offended. Or are they just being honest? And so the person who may be reacting to this is stepping back instead of reacting and taking a good hard look to be very present in the moment when feeling backed into a corner at 155, which is the Magician and the Masculine and the Leap, and the 55 of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God, or help myself. Okay, so that's it, you guys. Where are we? Yeah, I'm going to wait on this read on the table because it's already 2:07 and 2:08 as we're going in now. I will pull you an energy card just so we have something to leave on. If I can find where they are. Up there they are. Lost and Found is just coming up. I was blind, but now I see. See. The seas that run through it. Seize the day. And the night. And night in white satin. As the pearl is threaded from those pearly whites, as you speak your truth and breathe God's plight. I like that. All right, 15. There's that energy again of the shadow. And again, the 5 minus 1 is the 4. And there's the appreciation coming up. Show your appreciation, but be honest about it, right? Be thankful, but don't lie to someone and tell someone you like something that you don't. So be honest, but be kind and loving too. And there is the 47 of the heart to the crown, the sweet spot. And again, taking a breather when you need to, when you feel backed into a corner, perhaps opening to a page. And there's the butterfly of transformation, of the thinking woman. And again, using your thoughts in a different way to show appreciation, but in a more honest way, perhaps. And then we have the angel of love. And you see all the female energies coming out here. The 49 of getting her wish, focusing on her heart. As you are, all three of these people, right? The one who may have that shadow side sometimes, right? The thinking woman who needs to train her thoughts, and the one in her heart. And so what's missing in the Mary Magdalene portrait here, right? This is the Queen of Cups, and then this would be the Queen of Swords and Lady Liberty, and then here is the Earth energy, because that's Capricorn. So where's the fire? Where is the love, the love? Where is the love? There's the Archangel Michael as 35, the wounded warrior, and there's your fire, baby. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Oh my God. And then this takes you to the crown again. From root to crown, the twin flames on the wounded warrior's journey, graduating into the fool's journey with an open heart and a leap of faith, of rest and rejuvenation in the sun. With God's love, right? With fathers sending their love for graduation. And then there's 52 of the Queen of Swords holding up the moon, and there's the sun at the bottom of the deck, okay? The sun and the moon, and then here she is enjoying herself, clearing in the ocean water, right? Under the bridge of the sun, right? The energy of the sun, the father and the sun, like it's like the father and then the rays are the sun, the daughter moon, and the earth is the mother, but Mother Nature is everything, including the ethers. So again, the sun and the moon, the underlying energy is the sun enjoying vacation, and then there's a place for the moon as well. So make sure you allow it its proper place in the heavens. And again, remember, it reflects the sun in scalar waves. Wow. Okay, I gotta go now. I'm like blowing my own mind here. Breathe. And there's the 3, going from the 2s to the 3s. Okay, guys, you know what to do. Rise and be love. I'll see you guys soon. Have an amazing day.